Raise your cold beverages for Dax Softwood. Maybe one of these days they'll get that AEW tag team division the way it used to be. Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, man. I thought it was a great show tonight, man. I don't know what you guys thought. But I thought it was a really, really good show tonight. I don't know how you guys are feeling, man, but I'm actually enjoying the build for Bash in Berlin more than I was going into SummerSlam. That's only good things for Triple H. If the build for Berlin is this good, man, imagine what Bad Blood's gonna be. Imagine what Survivor Series is gonna be. Telling you, man, the last half of WWE television, man, it's gonna be great. We just gotta let it play out. Not rush into things. Bronson Reed continues to look like a savage animal, and I absolutely love it, but he was met by a monster tonight. Let me tell you something, man. This monster is no match for a tsunami. The Judgment Day had a great angle tonight. Randy Orton and Gunther, Punk and McinTyre strap match. Official. How does it feel that Punk's bracelet is more over than the entire AEW tag team division? Yeah, we won't go there, man. We won't go there. You know where I'm going there? I'm going to the venue. I need an old-fashioned. 2 cherries. And when I get there on this Monday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? See you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for August 19th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Monday nights, wherever you may be. Monday Night Raw tonight, man. I thought WWE did a great job. Another great week of building towards Bash in Berlin. I said it on social media before the stream went live tonight. I actually am enjoying, I know I'm not the only one that feels this way, I actually am enjoying the Bash in Berlin build more so than I did the SummerSlam build. I think a lot of it is fleshed out better. I think a lot of the matches, they make sense. There's greater story going into these matches. And I just like the vibe of what's going on right now in WWE, man. Going into Berlin, coming out of SummerSlam, we got Bad Blood to look forward to. We got Survivor Series to look forward to. I like the way WWE is setting themselves up for the last half of 2024, man. They got some great shit going on. And Raw is definitely cooking, for sure. The big story on Monday night tonight, I don't really think it's a big story, but the biggest takeaway from the show tonight was CM Punk and Drew McinTyre and their match at Bash in Berlin getting another stipulation. So we are running the gauntlet of stipulations for Punk and McinTyre as they continue to battle over supremacy of Monday Night Raw. Punk fights to get his bracelet back, which he was given a ton of bracelets at Fanatics Fest this past weekend. But he wants the one that Drew McinTyre stole because that one is near and dear to his heart. We got SummerSlam between those two. Special guest referee. You guys know how that ended. Rollins was the special guest referee. Now we're going to a second stipulation tonight, which was announced. It will be a strap match, and the strap match that Punk and McinTyre will have will be a traditional strap match because Punk is a traditionalist. Punk is old school. Normally, a strap match in WWE consists of two men bound by the strap, and the winner has to either give up or be pinned. There needs to be a give up, tap out, or pinfall. In this particular match that they will have at Bash in Berlin, the old school method is the winner must touch all four turnbuckles in order to be crowned the winner. So we're definitely going old school with that. I love that because the match itself is going to be violent, and I can't wait to see what these two guys do as they are bound wrist to wrist at Bash in Berlin. The one biggest takeaway from the segment, I think everybody kind of knew that the match was coming. I think everybody predicted it coming out of last week when Punk was flaunting around the strap on Monday Night Raw. The biggest takeaway from the segment tonight that they did have, and I've seen a lot of people feeling this same way on social media, this version of CM Punk that we've been getting the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. This is coming out of SummerSlam. I think this was like the last week of build going into SummerSlam and then coming out of SummerSlam. The last 4 weeks or so, I would say this. I don't want to say PG Punk, but Punk, to me anyway, verbally, has not been as visceral as we know CM Punk to be. Now, the last time we ran into this is when he made his return to the WWE at Survivor Series. They brought him back to television, and he didn't really say much, if anything. Everybody wanted him to go scorched earth on everybody, and we didn't get that. We had to wait a couple of weeks till we got CM Punk, or to get CM Punk becoming a little bit more normalized into the WWE system and getting his feet wet with being back. We then got that visceral CM Punk. He was mentioning a lot of different names. He had a stare down and a promo face-to-face with Seth Rollins before the Royal Rumble. Things were starting to get back on track. And that was no shortage of excitement when we got into the Drew McinTyre feud as well. You guys remember on the road to WrestleMania, that Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins segment that completely went off script and unhinged on the road to WrestleMania. One of the best segments of the entire year, as those three just laid it out for everybody, letting everybody know exactly how they all felt about each other. Punk tonight didn't really come off as visceral, and I am trying to figure out why we've gotten this toned down, I am begging for people to chant my name, CM Punk on WWE television. I mean, what are we doing with the Punk character? What are we doing with the Punk presentation on Monday Night Raw? Never did Punk pander to the crowd. Never did Punk beg for people to chant his name. Never did CM Punk, just lower himself to be this blue-collar babyface who's seeking adulation and acceptance from the crowd. I mean, this is not the Punk that we signed up for. For the most part, Punk has been great on WWE television, but the last 4 weeks, it's been very hit or miss for CM Punk, and I don't really understand why. This is not what we came here for. This is not what we signed up for. Now, I don't really know what else they could possibly do or say, and there needs to be a build for the pay-per-view. Coming out of SummerSlam, there needs to be a build. There needs to be some dialogue into the next match, make a stipulation, get to the next pay-per-view, then start building towards Hell in a Cell, which we all know this feud is going to take place in. The third and final stipulation will be inside Hell in a Cell. But I just feel like Punk has been very weak on the microphone to a point where McIntyre has actually superseded CM Punk on the microphone. I don't really understand where we went wrong here. It's not something that puts this feud in grave danger or anything, but it doesn't have the level of... I don't want to say the level of heat, because there is a lot of heat to this thing. With how everything has been presented, you would think that this shit would be like they want to fucking absolutely stab each other to death. They want to kill each other. But I don't really get a sense of that. I didn't get a sense of that going into the match when the bell rang. I didn't get a sense of that coming out. I don't know. I feel like we're just slightly off here. Or am I the only one that feels that way? I don't know. I really don't. But honestly, at the end of the day, what else could possibly be said between these two individuals that hasn't been said already? I can imagine it's difficult to come up with dialogue when they're basically revolving this entire feud around Punk getting his fucking 10-cent bracelet back. What else could be said? What else has been done in regards to Punk, in regards to McIntyre, that needs to be said and explained during the week? Nothing happened. Nothing has happened. They're just basically, I feel like they're in this holding pattern, and we've used that term a lot, holding pattern, from one pay-per-view to the next. I don't know, man. I'm not getting a sense that they're taking this to the next level. I just feel like they're just saying what they need to say, keeping it safe, and I hope that whatever comes out of Berlin, the heat going into Hell in a Cell warrants the match and the feud ending inside Hell in a Cell. Really. I hope so. I don't know if you guys feel the same way or not, but I feel like this feud is being held back by something. I just don't know what it is. Whether it's Punk's toned-down promo style lately, or the fact that they haven't touched, or the fact that there hasn't been much creativity outside of Punk wanting his 10-cent bracelet back and McIntyre teasing him with the fucking bracelet every week. But all in all, I'm excited for the match. Strap match, a strap match could get fucking brutal. And we've seen some brutal strap matches in not only WWE, but in pro wrestling in general. I think the last strap match that we saw that got ridiculously out of control and was a fucking banger was Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks at All Out last year. That was fucking great. Fucking fantastic shit, man. So I'm hoping that we get something along the lines of that coming out of Punk and McIntyre, really. And I do see some similarities to the MJF and CM Punk feud in AEW. Now, obviously, they can't do, nor will they do, a dog collar match, but it looks like Punk is taking some of those blueprints from some of the things that he did in AEW with some of the better-known talent over in AEW and applying them to this feud with Drew McinTyre, which is not a bad thing because some of the work CM Punk did in AEW was fucking great. But again, I feel like this feud is missing something. I can't really pinpoint what exactly that is. Could be a multitude of things. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's not, oh my God, this is a sinking ship type situation. I just feel like they need to add some fuel to this fire because if they're going to put these two guys inside Hell in a Cell, it certainly needs to warrant being inside Hell in a Cell. And it started off that way. I just hope it doesn't fizzle out before we get there. Now, Randy Orton and Gunther, they have a match, which I would presume is going to be I don't know if it's going to be the main event or at least one of the main events, I would say is safe to say, at Bash in Berlin. Gunther will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Randy Orton. I'm loving what they're doing so far. I think the heat is there. I think Gunther tonight, Fort Lauderdale, brought the heat to Gunther. He was mega over as a heel. He got some great heel heat. Randy Orton, he is always going to get a great reaction no matter what, which I am paying very close attention to because when that RKO hits on Cody Rhodes, when it happens, it is going to be a sad day for all the Randy Orton fans out there. Or it may not be because I think more people love heel Randy Orton than they do babyface Randy Orton. But I think the build for Gunther and Randy Orton has been really great so far. I'm looking forward to seeing how this match materializes at Bash in Berlin and what the situation is coming out of this feud because we all know Randy Orton's not going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm going to be looking forward to how this match ends and what Randy Orton does going back to SmackDown, knowing that Kevin Owens was gifted a World Championship match from Cody Rhodes. And Randy Orton's been there side by side with KO and Cody Rhodes to battle the bloodline. I can't imagine he's going to be too happy with that. So I'm excited for what Gunther and Randy Orton are going to do at Bash in Berlin. The build has been really good. And tonight, Randy Orton wrestled Ludwig Kaiser. And what I thought was a very good main event. Braun Breaker, he's not going to be at Bash in Berlin, which is sad. It's kind of disappointing. But the positive is we're going to wait to find out who Braun Breaker's next opponent is for the Intercontinental Championship because Triple H is giving us an Intercontinental Championship tournament that will run all the way through the build for Bad Blood. And Braun Breaker will have a new number one contender by the end of this tournament. We don't know how many men are going to be in this tournament. We don't know who outside Jey Uso is going to be in this tournament. But I love the idea of another tournament. And whoever wins this tournament is certainly going to fall to Braun Breaker. But I will go over why. One very important reason why I love this tournament, even though Braun Breaker's not going to be on the Bash in Berlin card. One reason why I love this tournament taking place on Monday Night Raw. The Judgment Day, they had a great segment tonight, and they looked strong going into Berlin as they decimated Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. And Braun Breaker, but Bronson Reed had a very good match, believe it or not, with The Miz. No DQ match. Another tsunami, and this time before he got carried away and delivered 5 or 6 tsunamis to The Miz. That big old son of a bitch, Braun Strowman. He stared down Bronson Reed in the middle of the ring and said, you want to pick on somebody your own size. And Bronson Reed is now looking at a monster in Braun Strowman, man. So what I thought WWE did tonight. I thought they had a very good show, which all got started off with Sheamus and Pete Dunne, which was a fucking banger of a match between those two guys. And we're going to go over it all right here on the Monday Night Raw post show, right here on Off the Script. And I want to thank you guys very much for joining me here on Monday night. Please follow me on social media, guys, at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Always some hijinks going on the social media side of things. Who's upset at me? Who's calling me out for my basic pro wrestling opinion? Failed podcasters want to get in on the action here. Meanwhile, they should be worried about their own fucking failing podcasts. They're only attacking us because we got a great thing going on here, guys. That's the only reason why. Only reason why. Everybody else in the community, man, we're blowing these motherfuckers out of the water, man. There's nobody that holds a fucking candle to what we do. It's ridiculous. They know what we got here. They want to take it away from us. They want to try and silence us. They want to spread that our opinion doesn't matter. That what we think and what we say doesn't matter. False. Not going anywhere. If you got a problem with my fucking opinion over pro wrestling, man, it says more about them than it does about us, because we're only doing our fucking job, and we've been doing our job pretty damn fucking good for the last 8 years, man, because everything we said about WWE, man, oh man, was I spot on about that. Now look at us. Now we're eating pretty fucking well every Monday night, man. Friday still needs a little work, but every Monday night, man, we're getting closer and closer to where we need to be. AEW is just not putting on good television on a week-to-week basis. Not my fucking problem. You got a problem with that? Maybe you should speak to the man in charge who fucking books the show, not me. They are a cult. They are a fucking cult, man. Some of the people that are part of that group, man, they are absolutely out of their fucking mind mental, man. They are not normal human beings. Don't worry, Jesse and I are going to go all guns blazing on Wednesday, man. It's gonna be a shit show on Wednesday, so make sure you tune in. Jesse's been very vocal about it too, because he's fucking fed up. It's ridiculous. You know, the question I do have is where is everybody when we speak good about the product? That's what I want to know. Remember all those weeks where I said back-to-back-to-back Dynamites? I mean, this is some of the best Dynamites we've done all year, right? In July, remember that? No, nobody else remembers that because they want to focus in on all the negative that I say. But when I say something positive, I mean, now listen, man, JD's a little too normal for us, man. Let's sweep it under the rug, man. Let's call him out when he says anything bad to make him look like an idiot. Fucking ridiculous. Always something, always some hijinks on social media, man. Solomonster and I will be live tomorrow night, TNT. As always, we got a lot to talk about. We'll do some all-in preview and predictions, man. All in happening this coming weekend. Should be good. We'll go over all the matches and we'll give our honest opinion about everything going on. Speaking of TNT, man, go get your t-shirts. Tuesday Night Titans has some merch. Go and get it. Go and pick it up. Bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Off the Script and Tuesday Night Titans. Link is down below in the description. Go and check it out. And if you see the little online store underneath the video player that you're watching right now, it's right there, man. It should be the first thing that you see. So go get yours today. It's a great way to support not only Off the Script, but Tuesday Night Titans. Go check out all the other videos. Go follow the second channel, man. JD from NY Shorts. Blowing up. We're at almost 4,000 subs already, man, in 1 week. You guys are kicking ass over there, man. You're liking the content over there. More to come this week. Hit that thumbs up. 428 likes. Let's try for 1,000. You guys know the deal, man. I accept nothing less than 1,000. If we could get 1,000 on the live stream, that would be great. And tonight, we're sponsored by Blue Chew. Dax wants to be hardwood, right? Or hardwood. He's softwood. I think he needs some fucking Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. Don't be like Docs. Go get yourself some Blue Chew, man. Tonight's sponsor right here on Off the Script. Let's get into this Monday Night Raw post. First of all, I need a sip of my cold beverage, man. Hold on. Monday Night Raw. Tonight, we start off with Randy Orton. We get a recap of what's going on with Gunther from last week. And Randy Orton is in the ring. Crowd in Fort Lauderdale was singing along to Randy Orton's theme. This is what WWE wants, man. They want the vibe of everybody partying, singing Orton's theme, singing Zane's theme, doing the yeet. They want all this shit, man. Yes, Dax Nowood. I like that one. Randy Orton's in the ring. He said that his match only had to be about the world title, but Gunther made it personal. He did. Said Randy Orton's a fuck-up. He said not only Randy Orton's a fuck-up, his grandfather was a fuck-up, and then his father was a fuck-up. And Randy Orton was the biggest fuck-up of them all. Orton pointed out that he had to hit Gunther with an RKO before Gunther interrupted. So Gunther's out there. Gunther told Orton that the only thing he achieved was making this very personal. He said the crowd was hyped to see him hit another RKO, but he promised another RKO would never happen again. Gunther said after Bash in Berlin, he would leave him a bloodied mess, and he will rather expose him as a one-trick pony. Orton told Gunther that he would make his flight much more uncomfortable with a double wide foot up his ass. Gunther dared Orton to fight him until Ludwig Kaiser showed up and attacked him from behind. Orton fought Gunther and Kaiser, but Kaiser shut him down with a chop block. Gunther laid out Orton with a lariat and stood tall over Orton with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. There wasn't really a lot there between Orton and Gunther. There wasn't anything that was accentuated upon coming out of last week. They didn't really add anything major coming out of last week, this week. What really made this segment was legitimately out of nowhere. And I don't know if it was just Florida and the Florida crowd being excited to be at Monday Night Raw and see Randy Orton beat this foreign villain in Gunther. But, man, the crowd in this segment really made it that much better than it really came off as being. The crowd was hot for Orton. The crowd legitimately booed the fuck out of Gunther. They started chanting USA, USA. In my honest opinion, it almost looked like Gunther was a little flustered with how loud the boos were for him. I don't think he really expected that tonight. So I thought that the crowd made this entire segment. But this was outside that, a typical WWE Open, set the tone for what happens in the main event as they set up Randy Orton versus Ludwig Kaiser. Nothing was really accentuated upon coming out of last week. Very paint-by-numbers stuff here, but I'm still excited for the match. I can't wait to see the match. And I feel like what happens in this match is going to have a direct effect on where this takes Randy Orton going back to SmackDown and getting thrusted back into the plans that will materialize over there. So I'm very much looking forward to it just based off that. So I thought this was fine. Crowd made it better. I'm still excited to see Gunther and Randy Orton deliver at Bash in Berlin. We're going to recap of Pete Dunne assaulting Sheamus and crushing his hand last week with a shillelagh backstage. Jackie Redmond then interviewed Sheamus, and he was about to head out to the ring for his opening match with Pete Dunne. Sheamus said about his status ahead of the match with Pete Dunne. Sheamus said he would get back at Dunne in spite of his injured hand, and he was going to kick his ass. Sheamus and Pete Dunne opened the show. And I said this on Monday Night Raw during the show on Twitter. WWE has had this, and I don't know if people have been picking up on this, but WWE has had a nice string of opening the show. Whether it's with the promo or we go straight into the action, WWE has had a nice string of opening matches on Monday Night Raw, and a lot of them lately have been including Sheamus. This was no different. I don't know if it's by happenstance. I don't know if it's done that way by design, strategically. But WWE has had a great opening match the last several weeks. And I don't know why I'm just now seeing it and piecing that together again. I don't know if it's done by design that way. But man, oh man, WWE has done a great job of setting the tone for Monday Night Raw with great pro wrestling to open Monday Night Raw. And this was no different. This was definitely one of the better opening matches that you will see all year for WWE. And that goes to show you how good Sheamus is. And that goes to show you how great Pete Dunne is and how he has kind of just been waiting to break out. I don't know if this was stated or not, but I do believe that this was a first-time match. Believe it or not. It's crazy to think that this was a first-time match, but they have been in the same stable for a while, and then Sheamus went away. Pete Dunne got paired with Tyler Bate. He got injured, and that tag team never went anywhere. And now Pete Dunne's all by himself. So ever since Pete Dunne got called up to the main roster and he was known as Butch, they haven't had a match. So I believe this is the first time on the main roster that we're seeing this match between Pete Dunne and Sheamus. And man, was this a fucking banger. This was legitimately a banger, like Sheamus would say. So Dunne stomped the injured hand into the steel steps, and we go into a commercial break. We'll pick it up after the commercial break. Dunne repeatedly smacked Sheamus, and Sheamus was just asking for more. Sheamus fought back. Dunne came back and smacked him harder. Sheamus asked if he was butch or a bitch, so Dunne dropped him with some stiff forearm shots. Obviously, that angered Pete Dunne. Sheamus tried fighting back, but Dunne targeted his hand and hit his 10 beats. Dunne didn't follow up, so Sheamus hit 20 beats. Dunne avoided a bro kick and tried a moonsault, but Sheamus caught him midair with a lifting knee strike for a very close near fall. Crowd went crazy for that. Dunne came back with a nice sit-out power bomb. He goes for a cover, and he gets a 2 count. In what I thought was one of the best spots of the entire night, Pete Dunne takes Sheamus's injured hand and sticks it in between the turnbuckle pad and traps his hand in the turnbuckle pad. And he started hammering away because Sheamus couldn't protect himself. Sheamus, all of a sudden, this was such a great visual, man. Just imagine, his hand is stuck in the turnbuckle. Pete Dunne walks away. Sheamus, so angry at this point, can't take his hand out of the turnbuckle. He rips the turnbuckle pad off of the fucking post, off of the rope, and he comes out of it, exploding out of the corner with a bro kick, and he pins Pete Dunne 1, 2, 3. Excellent spot. Now, I know a lot of people are probably looking, well, why did Sheamus need to win this match? Pete Dunne should have won this match. I don't see how Pete Dunne looks bad in this instance at all, because this match was fucking great. This is probably one of the better TV matches you will see on WWE television all year. And I thought they killed it. The thing is, they're building Sheamus up. Pete Dunne's going to be fine. Pete Dunne is kind of meddling in some business for the NXT title on Tuesday nights. He doesn't really factor into anything right now on the main roster. The whole point of this is to continue to build Sheamus up. Sheamus is eyeing the Intercontinental Championship. He had to put away Pete Dunne because Pete Dunne was a thorn in his side. Pete Dunne started this with him. Pete Dunne took a problem with Sheamus. Now he's got Kaiser. And Kaiser's been kind of egging him on because Kaiser had the broken rib. He went out for a couple of weeks. And now he wants another match with Sheamus because they're tied 1-1. They want the best of 3. I'm assuming they'll meet in the tournament. But the whole reason for this is Sheamus is eyeing the Intercontinental Championship, building Sheamus up for the Intercontinental title. Whether he wins the tournament or not, that remains to be seen. I don't think we do Sheamus versus Braun Breaker just yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They could always revisit it at WrestleMania. But I do think that the money feud, and I've said this once before, and I'm going to say it again. I think the money feud with Braun Breaker going into WrestleMania is a feud for the Intercontinental title with Sheamus. I think this year, coming up, WrestleMania 41 is the year you finally belt Sheamus with the Intercontinental Championship and give him that moment for the title he's never won. That's just the way that I'm kind of long playing this for Sheamus. I would actually give Kaiser the win over Sheamus in the tournament. I would give him the win over Sheamus in the tournament. I don't know who else is going to be in the tournament. I don't know who's going to win the tournament. But whoever it is, it can't be anybody uber impressive. It can't be anybody that, is, oh my God, this guy should be the next in line for the title. No, it's got to be somebody that Braun Breaker could beat. Because Braun Breaker ain't losing that championship anytime soon. So we'll get to the tournament because Braun Breaker did speak on the tournament a little bit later on in the show. So we'll see what happens there. Again, it could be Sheamus. It could be Sheamus and Ludwig in the finals. We don't know yet. And Braun Breaker going up against Sheamus and beating him this time with Breaker getting that match at WrestleMania and vanquishing Braun Breaker before they inevitably move Braun Breaker on to the World Heavyweight Championship. That's just the way that I see it. It could happen, but we will see how all this materializes next week when we start the tournament on Monday Night Raw. Odyssey Jones. This was another part of the show that I was very intrigued by. Odyssey Jones warmed up with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods in the back. Odyssey left, and this left Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods to speak by themselves. Now, the whole thing here is a lot of people are thinking that Xavier Woods is upset with Kofi Kingston because he brought Odyssey Jones into the New Day and he didn't consult with Xavier Woods about bringing Odyssey Jones into the New Day. So they talked, and Jones left, and Kingston spoke with Woods. Kingston noticed Woods' energy has been off lately, and he hasn't really been feeling and looking himself lately. And he wondered if it was because of Karrion Kross. Woods said Kross wasn't the issue. Woods wished Kingston spoke to him about Odyssey Jones because he felt like Kingston was trying to replace Big E in the New Day, and he did not like that. He's got a gripe. He's got a gripe. At least he was open and honest with his buddy. Kingston apologized, and he apologized for not talking to him first about Odyssey Jones and said it was never about replacing Big E. Nobody is ever going to replace Big E. Kofi wasn't looking to replace Big E. The fans knew Odyssey Jones was never going to replace Big E, but Xavier Woods felt like that Kofi was trying to replace Big E's spot in the New Day. It wasn't even about Kofi bringing Odyssey into the New Day. He explained all this to Woods. Kingston recalled what it was like when they first started the New Day and how everybody made fun of them. He says it was hard, but they got through it because they had each other and became one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They were family, and that would never change. Odyssey was in the same boat now as they were back then. Kingston said he wanted to help Odyssey Jones in the same way he wished people had helped us when we first started. Woods agreed. He smiled and said, you know what? You're right. It's on me. It's my problem. I'll fix it. Odyssey came back to the locker room. He gave Woods a big hug. Woods kind of didn't really like that. Kind of came off like a fake smile on Xavier Woods. And I liked the explanation. I thought Kofi's explanation for the last couple of weeks has been spot on perfect. And it's all in the details, man. The little details matter. I'm not saying WWE does this all the time, but they have nailed the little details in regards to this. They answered a lot of questions here. Is Odyssey Jones going to be a part of the New Day? Is Odyssey Jones taking Big E's spot in the New Day? Kofi Kingston said, no, he's not in the New Day. It was never him about being in the New Day, and he's not replacing Big E's spot in the New Day. Well, why did you befriend Odyssey Jones? Where does Odyssey Jones' friendship come from all of a sudden? Well, I was rehabbing. I was out injured. They sent me down to the Performance Center. He was down there, and we made acquaintances, and I liked his charisma. I liked him as a person. And I said, you know what? Let's do something together. It's those little details that matter, bro. Those little details that matter. And I think they have nailed it so far. Whereas this storyline wasn't really doing much for me because I didn't know where they were going. There was no substance. And now the last couple weeks, with Odyssey Jones now getting involved, and we see this Xavier Woods fake smiling and being frustrated and feels like Kofi's kind of pushing him to the side for his new friend, Odyssey Jones. I like it. It went from, is Karrion Kross manipulating Xavier Woods, to now Xavier's got a problem with his own brother and Odyssey Jones. Karrion Kross right now is a player in this angle. He is a character. He is a part of the story. He's not the story. But whatever he says to Woods is now going to resonate more because he's seeing it now firsthand, and Karrion Kross is only going to egg this shit on to push Xavier Woods further from breaking away from his brothers. I like where they're going with this. Very good stuff. WWE had some clips from Fanatics Fest, and they made it look all spectacular. Meanwhile, I heard nothing but horror stories coming out of Fanatics Fest. I had people reach out to me that were in line waiting for Cody Rhodes at Fanatics Fest. And I seen some people voicing their concern, and I'm sure we'll talk about this tomorrow on TNT. I seen some people voicing their concern in regards to Cody Rhodes and blaming Cody Rhodes for Fanatics Fest and how everything went down. You know, if people stopped and thought about what was going on and they really kind of pieced the puzzle together, you know, it would be not as bad or as grim as you're making it out to be if you just think rationally. You know, I want you to think of Cody Rhodes' schedule coming out of Friday Night SmackDown. On Friday Night SmackDown, they were in Orlando, Florida. On Saturday night, they go to Lakeland, Florida. So they're doing the whole Florida coast-to-coast tour. Orlando on Friday, Lakeland, Florida on Saturday night. Cody had to get on a plane on Saturday night, early Sunday morning, to be in New York City, downtown at the Javits Center in Manhattan. That's all the way downtown. He had to go to Fanatics Fest, and then on the same Sunday night, needed to be in Fort Myers, Florida, for a house show main event against Solo Sikoa. Is that Cody Rhodes' fault for Fanatics Fest? The same Cody Rhodes that spends several minutes after a house show goes off the air or a live event goes off the air or ends, taking pictures with fans and shaking people's hands and giving out fucking belts to the kids and bringing the kids on into the ring for pictures. You know, moments that will last a lifetime, moments that you aren't paying $300 a pop for. Cody does that in every single city, in every single town, and you're blaming Cody Rhodes for that. And what happened at Fanatics Fest? Is that a rational thought? Is that a rational human being? Now, I get that you paid good money, premium money, to meet these superstars, but it's not Cody Rhodes' fault. If it's anybody's fault, it's Fanatics Fest and the organizers, and it's WWE's fault. It's Fanatics Fest and the organizers because they had just massive miscommunication. People were getting emails late about fucking scheduled times that they were scheduled for changing, and they sent these people emails. Hey, man, this superstar that you were scheduled to meet at 12 is now meeting at 3 o'clock. Meanwhile, you're standing in line for 3 fucking hours at 12 o'clock waiting for the scheduled time that you paid for, and then they're giving you the runaround to go somewhere else at a different fucking time? Who the fuck is checking their email frantically during Fanatics Fest? It's ridiculous. No, but that's Cody Rhodes' fault. Blame WWE for double booking this fucking guy. Did he need to be at the house show? Was it going to kill their overall business if he missed a fucking house show in Fort Myers, Florida? Why couldn't you just let him spend the whole day at Fanatics Fest? If it was up to Cody Rhodes, he would have signed every fucking autograph in the goddamn building before he went on his flight to get home. No, but let's blame Cody Rhodes. Let's blame Cody Rhodes. Either that or the Fanatics Fest organizers didn't really anticipate how crazy the pro wrestling fans were going to be. Maybe next year they set a set limit for tickets and don't overbook the fucking line. There must have been some miscommunication between WWE and Fanatics Fest and the organizers. Maybe someone didn't realize that Cody Rhodes needed to get the fuck out of there. Maybe they didn't know that Cody Rhodes was needed to be in Fort Myers, Florida for a fucking house show. I don't fucking know. There's just massive miscommunication going on there, bro. That's sad. That is deplorable. But I'm also not spending $300 a pop to meet Cody Rhodes. Or whatever the fucking price was. I mean, I'm not a mark. I don't go to these things. I don't do that. I really don't. There's a handful of people that I would legitimately pay for a picture for. Cody Rhodes is not one of them. But if that's your thing, so be it. Don't blame Cody Rhodes. It's not Cody Rhodes. There was this Braun Breaker video package, man. I love Braun. I think Braun's great. I really do. There was highlights of Braun Breaker's career in NXT, some of his highlights on the main roster so far since getting called up from NXT. I don't know what type of music they had playing over this. It was like in a music video format. It was just a backing track with highlights of Braun Breaker. I don't know what type of music it was, man. It did not fit Braun Breaker's mentality. It did not fit Braun Breaker's style whatsoever. When I think of Braun Breaker, man, I think of fucking like balls to the wall heavy metal, man. Can we get like Metallica or something that's got some balls to it? Seriously. Fight Fire with Fyre. Battery would have been great from Metallica. Some Slayer maybe. Something that's just riddled with heavy guitar and just goes along with the destruction that Braun Breaker causes. Slipknot. Some old school Slipknot something. I don't know, man. I need some. There is a huge deviation away from rock music in pro wrestling. I find that to be a fucking problem. You know, this mainstream shit is fucking garbage. I don't know who listens to this shit. I really don't. Jelly Roll and whatever listen, Jelly Roll did fine at SummerSlam. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not going to be listening to that shit in my own personal time. But I mean, we need the essence of good old-fashioned hard rock, heavy metal back in pro wrestling, man. Triple H did a great job on NXT Black and Gold when he always had those banger themes for a takeover. You guys remember those themes. I wasn't a big fan of Poppy, but there was some great independent bands. He got some mainstream acts at times to do the themes. We need a nice rock and roll fucking theme or a heavy metal theme for pro wrestling, man. It's so much mainstream, nauseating fucking just casual garbage when it comes to music, man. Music is one of the most vital fucking things to anything, to life. Seriously. And they always fuck it up. They always go with the worst fucking option. Always. Braun Breaker doesn't need some poppy country shit, man. Some hip-hop. No. Braun Breaker is a destructive human being, man. The soundtrack to his destruction should go accordingly. That's just my opinion. We got a recap of Ivy Nile turning on Maxine Dupree last week. And then backstage, we see Chad Gable praising Ivy Nile and her decision from last week to officially join American Made. Gable said that after Nile beats Maxine Dupree tonight, they would be done with the failed experiment known as American Alpha. Ivy Nile made her way to the ring. She was going one-on-one with Maxine Dupree. And Maxine, I will give Maxine credit, man. Maxine looked for the 90 seconds that was this match. She did not look bad at all. Now, I know that's not really a lot of time to gauge if someone is good or bad, but she came out swinging for the fences, man. I got to give her her flowers here. She looked angry. She looked intense. She threw Ivy Nile from inside the ring to the outside to the ring, and she threw her into the barricade 2 or 3 different times. She delivered a perfect plex, beautifully executed on the outside. I thought this was good stuff. So whatever she was doing in that 90 seconds, she looked really good doing it. And it looks like she had some actual wrestling gear on. Got to give the woman her flowers. So we go back into the ring. Ivy Nile caught Dupree with a kick to the head and started going at it in the corner with Maxine. All of a sudden, the lights go out. One by one, typical Wyatt 6 style. And the lights are off. And we see Nikki Cross appearing inside the ring, staring down Ivy Nile. The rest of the Wyatt 6 show up because now American Made is out there. We got Gable, we got Brutus, we got Julius. They're all out there. Cross tackled Nile out of the ring, and the rest of the Wyatts took care of the Creeds, leaving Chad Gable alone with all of the Wyatt 6 until Uncle Howdy appeared behind Gable and leveled him with a brutal-looking Sister Abigail, and that was it for American Made. I don't know where we're going with this. I really don't. Again, just like the Punk and McinTyre stuff, a lot hasn't been said coming out of the 6-man tag team match that we saw 2 weeks ago. Where are we going with this Wyatt 6 American Made feud? And how does this benefit American Made? Because I might as well talk about this now. WWE is setting up next week for the first time ever Uncle Howdy wrestling on national television for the first time against Chad Gable. Now, I don't really foresee this going the way that you would want for American Made. I don't see Chad Gable coming out with a W next week on Monday Night Raw. What I am intrigued about is that WWE has done a very good job so far with the presentation of the Wyatt 6. So far, everything they've done with the Wyatt 6 has been very good. It hasn't been overexposed. They've taken their time with it. And now we got all of the members outside Nikki Cross so far. It will be everybody in the ring but Nikki Cross. Uncle Howdy will now make his debut by himself against Chad Gable. Again, I don't know where this story is going and what the end goal is here, but I am very curious to see how Uncle Howdy is presented on television. If it's the same way that the rest of them were, we're good to go. And it's going to be interesting to see how good of a wrestler Bo Dallas still is, because I remember Bo being very good. Is Bo Dallas still that good? How much has changed since the old Bo Dallas in the B team and Bo leave compared to what we see now? How is he going to move? How is he going to operate? What type of story is he going to tell in the ring now that he's got the mask and he's feeling the character of Uncle Howdy? It's going to be a nice, eye-opening welcome to see Bo Dallas back on WWE television. But again, it's going to be under the microscope. And WWE's done a very good job so far with all of the Wyatt 6. Again, I just don't know how this is going to end up being very good for the American Made group, led by Chad Gable, because you would think that now he's got his muscle in the Creeds, they should really be looking strong. I just don't see how they come out of this Wyatt 6 feud with a W. I don't. I really don't. Backstage, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley talked about overpowering the new lame version of the Judgment Day. I love these backstage promos. They've done this now with Damian Priest on multiple occasions. They've now included Rhea Ripley in this. I don't know if this is a Judgment Day thing or if this is going to be a thing that we see with several others on the main roster. But right now, it might just be for the Judgment Day. And I think this probably fits someone like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, who aren't really as strong as others in the promo department. Having them in this backstage confined element is a lot better than putting them out there in front of a live audience. I think it just comes off better. But I thought this was great. They cut a promo on this new lame version of the Judgment Day. Priest said Liv Morgan and Dominic would receive their punishment at Bash in Berlin in the mixed tag team match. Rhea Ripley accused Morgan of becoming a discount Rhea Ripley, and the Terror Twins would put them through the mat at Bash in Berlin. I thought this was a very well delivered promo by both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. CM Punk. CM Punk starts hour 2, and he makes his way out to the ring, and he's got his strap wrapped around his neck. CM Punk, first of all, wanted to congratulate the Florida Panthers on winning the Stanley Cup Finals. And everybody broke into a Panthers chant in Fort Lauderdale. He mentioned seeing Roberto Luongo earlier in the evening. Crowd chanted for the Panthers. Punk mentioned Fanatics Fest. Someone there asked him about the hot streak that he and the company were on. He said it was all thanks to the fans. And he points to everybody in the fans, and he really kind of accentuates towards the hard cam that there are fans on that side of the arena, whereas in AEW, there is no fans in attendance. He really loves kind of calling that out, and he does it more than he really needs to, but he loves poking fun that AEW has legitimately no fans on that side of the building. And he's going to continue to call that out because Punk is a dick. And you know how petty Punk can be when he wants to talk about his old employer. So he goes on and mentions Fanatics Fest. Someone asked him about the hot streak the company was on. Said it was all thanks to the fans. A fan in a wheelchair told him with tears in her eyes that she just defeated cancer and Punk was a source of strength for her. Punk thought about his own friends battling cancer. A fan from Taiwan flew 15 hours just to take a picture with him. Another fan from Jordan flew all the way to meet him at Fanatics Fest as well. That's pretty fucking impressive, man. CM Punk ain't a draw. CM Punk is absolutely still a draw in WWE. So he mentioned these two fans flying out to see him. He said it meant something to him because he missed them for 10 years. Crowd started to chant for CM Punk. He pulled out a handful of bracelets that fans gave him. He figured the bracelets were a Taylor Swift thing, but then joked, hey, listen, I'm Taylor Swift for men, he said. Now, I don't know if that's really something that you want to go on national television and admit, because I don't really believe the Taylor Swift hysteria or the Taylor Swift hype. Only beta cucks listen to fucking Taylor Swift. Give me a fucking break. If you're a dude listening to Taylor Swift, man, I think you got some mental fucking problems, honestly. Unbelievable. That's just me. It's my personal opinion. Don't take me at face value. If you enjoy Taylor Swift, man, that's all on you, man. In my household, when I was growing up, man, we were fucking instilled with fucking Journey and Phil Collins and fucking Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and Jethro Tull, Rush, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and whoever else I'm forgetting. I don't know if it's a good look for CM Punk to be going out there saying that he's Taylor Swift for men. I'm Taylor Swift for men, he says. The fan's bracelet looked like the bracelet that Drew McinTyre took off his lifeless body in Chicago. But he doesn't want that bracelet. He wants the one that Drew McinTyre's holding. Punk said McinTyre thought he would wash his hands of him after winning at SummerSlam, but McinTyre made it personal. McinTyre was obsessed with him. He wore the bracelet with his beautiful wife's name on it. Punk had a gift for McinTyre. Remember that big leather strap he was wearing around his neck? At Bash in Berlin, there's going to be a strap match as long as McinTyre wasn't too scared. They would be tethered together and would have too much, or they would have to touch each other, each turnbuckle, not touch each other. Nobody wants to see that either. Would have to touch each turnbuckle to win. That's not why Punk wanted the strap match. He wanted it to whip that bitch, he says. He wanted to leave lasting scars so McinTyre would never forget his name. McinTyre interrupted. McinTyre thought all week about the violence he wanted to bring Punk, and now Punk was challenging him to a strap match. McinTyre then wondered if Punk started drinking all of a sudden. Have you seen me? A strap match? I accept. McinTyre told him to drop the strap and give them, the fans, a teaser right now in Fort Lauderdale. Punk offered to give him the strap, but McinTyre needed to give him the bracelet first. McinTyre took off the bracelet, laughed, and said, no. McinTyre called Punk a liar. McinTyre knew if he gave Punk the bracelet, Punk would still whip him with the strap. Punk didn't deny it. McinTyre said April and Larry were safer at home with him. Punk warned him that he would not be safe in Berlin because it's not me who's attached to you. It's you that's attached to me. I thought it was fine. I thought the substance of what really needed to be said here was fine. I'm feeling a lack of intensity somewhere. And I don't know where it got lost in translation. This pandering to the crowd that Punk is doing, I get it. This time, this instance, Fanatics Fest and going over, people coming in from Jordan and coming all the way over from, what'd he say? One fan came from Jordan and the other came from Taiwan to meet him. 15 hours flying from Taiwan to meet him. That's great. Fans made him replacement bracelets. That's great. That's the power of Punk. That's how special Punk still is to a lot of different people out there, man. It's a beautiful thing to see. But the pandering that we've seen, the waiting for fans to chant his name, and sometimes downright Punk begging for people to chant his name where it should really be an automatic thing that they chant his name. I feel like Punk is pandering to the crowd a little bit more instead of just focusing on what needs to be focused on here. But we're getting the strap match. I think coming out of last week when we saw him waving the strap in the air, we knew exactly where this was going. I think this is going to be a brutal match. It's going to be a lot more brutal than what we got at SummerSlam. It needs to be. If this match is going to be put inside Hell in a Cell to end this feud, whatever happens in Berlin needs to be the next step to getting to that point. If not, why are we even here? And yes, it's all about the bracelet. Because now Punk, no matter how small it is, this is important to Punk. The bracelet is important to Punk. What else did Punk have? Punk didn't have any championships. Punk had an injury. McinTyre took 7 months of this guy's career away from him. Now Punk is back and ruined 3 times McinTyre winning the World Championship. If the bracelet is enough to set Punk off, McinTyre is going to exploit that. There's only a few things that Punk really adores in this life. His friends, his family, April and Larry, his coffee, and his career. That's it. Everything else is second best for Punk. This fucking bracelet is his family. It's got his family's name on it. If that's what's going to set him off, great. I don't mind the bracelet being the focus of this story. I don't mind the bracelet being the centerpiece of this story because what else does Punk have? What? McinTyre's a troll. McinTyre has played mind games with Punk on social media, on Raw. Punk, there's nothing left for him to take away from McinTyre. Now he needs to take his bracelet back. I don't mind the story whatsoever. And hockey. He loves his hockey. He loves his Blackhawks. I like this. I just feel like it needs an extra dash of pepper in the pasta sauce. It needs another fucking log on the fire. It needs some more fuel on the... some more gasoline on the fire. Something. I don't know what that is, but it needs to be taken to the next level. Hopefully Berlin is that. Now, I don't know if you guys seen this. This was CM Punk at Fanatics Fest. He was asked about being called a cancer in AEW. And he responded, I treat people how they treat me. He was asked this at a Fanatics Fest panel in New York City this past weekend. Punk has rejected the notion that he is a cancer to others, but believes any negative he has shown simply reflects how he's been treated. He spoke at Fanatics Fest in New York City. Punk was asked about being labeled a cancer by some in the wrestling community during his time in AEW. That's all bullshit. If you are a piece of shit and you act that way to me, I will treat you that way. If you're nice, if you're smiling, you want to have a good time, let's have a good time. I'm all hugs. Punk went even further, claiming that people who spread lies about him do so because they can't control him and absolutely hate that. Punk ended by saying people should arrive at their own conclusions, but recognize that's what's been often said about him, and it's not the truth. Now, Jericho repeatedly called Punk a cancer following AEW All Out 2022. Obviously, you guys know what happened there. He made a bunch of disparaging comments to Punk during the media scrum and along with the backstage fight with the Elite, and he got suspended from AEW. That was, obviously accentuated upon in WWE. During Punk's first suspension in AEW, Seth Rollins even labeled him a cancer during a media appearance ahead of the 2023 Royal Rumble. Rollins later admitted that it pains him to speak negatively about Punk because Punk was such an influence to Rollins' career. The issues, obviously, I would assume have been mended because they are now working together or will be working together. Right now is the going rumor going into WrestleMania. But we've had no problems with Punk in WWE. We're not going to have any problems with Punk in WWE because there is real leadership in WWE. There are mature people in WWE. The difference between AEW and WWE is that WWE has real leadership, AEW does not. Tony Khan is not a real leader. Tony Khan is a money mark who wants to friend all these people and wants zero to do with controversy and zero to do with backstage drama. It is a free-for-all backstage. He leaves it in the hands of everybody who runs the backstage area. He leaves it in the hands of the AEW disciplinary committee, whoever the fuck that's made up of. And these certain people have egos so big that they didn't want CM Punk in the locker room throwing his weight around for whatever reason, jealousy, whatever the reason may be. He's the guy. He's the one that's making the big bucks. He's the one that's bringing in the buy rates and the ratings, and he's making the most money out of everybody. Everybody took offense to this. They took offense to him coming on in trying to help the company. And obviously, you see where the company is now. I feel like Cody Rhodes was a fucking blow to the gut when AEW sided with the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks celebrated their victory that legitimately the biggest superstar that they will ever have walked through that door of AEW and then was subsequently fired because they didn't want him there. And then they took a victory lap in his termination. That's what killed AEW. I'm not saying that AEW is dead, but AEW certainly isn't the same company since CM Punk left. AEW is certainly not the same company since Cody Rhodes left. AEW is not the same company that they were 4 years ago, 3 years ago. They aren't the same company as they were 2 years ago. All you need to look at is the failing ratings to see where they are. All you need to look at is the dwindling attendance numbers to see exactly what's going on. And I'm not a ratings guy. I could give a fucking rat's ass about the fucking ratings, but the ratings are indicative of how the product is cold. The dwindling attendance numbers are indicative of how cold the product is. No, but Punk is the cancer. Britt Baker's out here getting suspended for fucking blasting MJF and Will Ospreay for having 1 hour on Dynamite. Now I'm hearing rumors that Britt Baker's got problems with Jamie Hayter. No, but Punk is the problem. Punk was the only cancer in the locker room, though, right? I don't understand why nobody wanted to do business. There's a lot more cancer in the AEW locker room than just CM Punk. And if you don't think the AEW product is dwindling and free-falling, I don't know what the fuck you're looking at. I don't. All you need to do is look at the ratings year over year. I did this with Monday Night Raw when Vince was in charge. Oh, but they're going to sign a new TV deal. That's fantastic. How is that going to change the overall presentation of the product that we see on Wednesday? How? Oh, because they get a TV deal, does that mean the product is going to be better than it was before the TV deal? Or are they going to get the TV deal, get their money, throw it in everybody's face, everybody in that locker room is going to fucking gloat to all the fans on social media, ha ha ha, AEW you thought was dead, you thought AEW was dying, fuck off, Marks. That's exactly what they're thinking backstage. That's exactly what they're thinking backstage. Yet Punk is the fucking cancer. Meanwhile, you got guys like Dax who are fucking tweeting at me because I have an opinion of how their product has gone down the fucking toilet. Am I not allowed to have a fucking opinion? Yet Punk is the fucking cancer that was AEW. You don't think they have a problem? You think a TV deal is going to solve that problem? You think Wembley Stadium is going to solve that fucking problem? You think announcing All In Texas is going to solve that fucking problem? They drew 81,000 people at Wembley Stadium last year. They barely have 50,000 this year. You don't think that's a fucking problem? They drew 30,000 less people from 1 year ago. Granted, the build for this year's All In is blowing last year's build out of the fucking water. But it doesn't matter about how good the TV is because they do so much bad that when the good happens, nobody sees it. And they constantly make mistakes. Another statistic, you're not going to believe this. 3 years ago, they drew 21,000 people for Grand Slam here in New York, Queens, New York, at Arthur Ashe Stadium. You guys remember, Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega was one of the greatest spectacles that we've seen in decades. The energy, I wasn't even there. The energy coming off my television, I get chills even fucking talking about it. One of the greatest, maybe the greatest moment in AEW history. The opening to that match, 21,000 people. That show is legitimately 1 month away. They got that building set up for 5,000 people, and they barely have 3,000 tickets out the fucking door. You don't find that to be a fucking problem? In New York City, you don't find that to be a fucking problem? Yet my opinion bothers people. I'm the problem. My opinion's the problem. Jesse's opinion's the problem. Everybody in that company should look themselves in the fucking mirror. They're the problem. They are the problem. The fans aren't the problem. Podcasters aren't the problem. Punk is not the problem. They're the fucking problem. The facts are in the numbers. You can sit there and hype up, oh, but Hologram is 5-0. Collision's great. I watched Collision on Saturday night. I watched it with Jesse. I got the text messages to prove it. Through an hour and a half, I barely got one fucking storyline that mattered on the entire fucking show. One. I'm going back and forth with this guy. I'm like, where's the fucking story? They have given up. No, but Punk is the problem. Punk is the problem. Ridiculous. Looking forward to Bash in Berlin with Punk and McinTyre. 6-man tag team match. Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Odyssey Jones against Karrion Kross and the Final Testament. I thought this was good stuff. They went 8 minutes. And everybody expected Xavier Woods to at least walk away from the New Day. Not turn heel. I don't know if he's going to turn heel. But at least walk away from the New Day. So we'll pick it up after the break. Before the break, Rezar slammed Kofi into the corner with the Death Valley Driver. Come back from break, Kross launched Kofi away with an exploder suplex away from his corner and knocked Jones off the apron. Akam missed a shoulder thrust in the corner. This allowed Kofi to give Jones the hot tag. And the way WWE set this up was the camera was positioned behind Xavier Woods, and you saw Odyssey on one side and Woods on the other. Kofi goes to make the hot tag, and Xavier had his hand out. Odyssey had his hand out. And instead of tagging Woods, Kofi tags in Odyssey. The angle was great here. And a lot of people were like, well, what happened at the end of the match? I'll get to that in a second. So he tags in Jones instead of Woods. Jones put Akam and Rezar down with double clotheslines, setting up Akam for a big-time headbutt. Kross clocked Odyssey with a lariat, only for Kofi to take him out with a Trouble in Paradise. Akam launched Kofi away with a belly-to-belly suplex before receiving a Woods elbow drop. Rezar dropped Woods with a chokeslam, but Jones immediately finished him off with his Boss Man Slam finish, which he calls, I love the name of this finish, he calls it Journey's End. Love it. You know, like Odyssey and Journey, love it. Odyssey Jones wins the match for the New Day at 8 minutes. Match was fine, but the highlight was the hot tag to Odyssey and not Xavier Woods. Xavier looked very dejected. So when people say, well, I expected Xavier to turn heel, why is there no heel turn, JD? Well, maybe if you had a little bit of fucking patience and you see how things play out, you got the promo from earlier in the night where Xavier says, I'll fix it. Listen, man, I get your explanation. It's on me. And then Kofi goes and basically does what he did tonight and not tag Xavier, right? He wants Kofi to understand how he's upset. Kofi understands, he's explaining. Woods takes accountability for it. He tries to live with Odyssey Jones and the decision to have him there. And then Kofi gave this great explanation only to tag Odyssey Jones later in the match. So all that explaining to Woods, for what? Woods is going to take this and say, do you really mean what you say? Because I'm there. We're the tag team. It's us. We're the New Day. Meanwhile, I'm being pushed aside for Odyssey Jones. Great stuff. Backstage, Rhea Ripley warned Damian Priest that he was walking into a trap with Dominic Mysterio. Dominic challenged Damian Priest to a match tonight. Priest says that he knew, but getting his hands on Dominic and seeing Ripley get her hands on Liv was all worth it, no matter what. Backstage, Adam Pearce told The Miz that the only reason he hadn't suspended Bronson Reed was because The Miz came up to him and Miz wanted to fight him tonight. So he asked The Miz, do you want to go ahead with this match? and wrestle Bronson Reed. Because Pierce was on the verge of suspending Bronson Reed. Miz admitted that he wasn't sure he wanted this match, but he wanted payback for what Reed did to Truth. Miz doesn't have a lot of friends in this business. Adam Pearce says, yeah, I know. But the Miz says, the friends I do have, I want to back up and fight for. Miz didn't have to do this. He says he had to do this for R-Truth. Believe it or not, this match with the Miz was not bad. Now, I didn't really know it was going to be a no DQ match until we got out there, but the no DQ stipulation certainly made this Miz match a little bit more digestible, quite honestly. And I thought what they did was great stuff. It was really fun for whatever the 8 minutes was. So we pick it up after the commercial break. Before the break, we got Reed dropping Miz onto a trash can with a body slam. And then he whacked him with the flattened trash can. And we go to commercial break. We pick it up from the break. Miz rammed Reed into a chair in the corner and spiked him with a tornado DDT onto a chair that was laying on the mat. And Bronson Reed, he kicked out of the one. Miz went for recovery, kicked out of the one. So Miz started punching Bronson Reed with a series of punches. He goes with a series of kendo stick shots to the chest. Reed then catches a springboarding Miz crossbody and couldn't put Miz through a corner table. Reed laid Miz out with a lariat, blocked the skull-crushing finale before putting him through a table. Eventually, the table that was set up before that, Miz was about to go through, but he evaded, at least for the time being. Death Valley driver through the table in the corner. He moved Miz over to the corner on the opposite end, and Reed hit him with a tsunami for the 1, 2, 3. The crowd coming to their feet is a beautiful thing to see with Bronson Reed going to the top rope, man. There's this audible, like, shock and awe in the crowd. This excitement. This, oh my God, he's going to squash another. When Bronson Reed goes up to the top rope, he jumps off. He delivers the tsunami. 1, 2, 3. Miz was flattened. Nobody kicks out. Nobody should ever kick out of the tsunami. And Bronson Reed is a fucking beast. Reed was about to go up for another tsunami. But we didn't get a repeat that we saw with Seth Rollins and R-Truth. Before he hits the second tsunami, Braun Strowman, his music hits the PA system. He marched out, and he gets into the ring, and he looks at Bronson Reed, and basically, you can gather here, make up your own mind about what was going on here. You want to bully everybody else? Try and bully me, you fat son of a bitch. That's exactly what he was thinking. You fucking son of a bitch. You want to bully everybody else, a lot smaller than you. Try pushing me around. So now we got two meaty men. Pause. Two meaty men in the ring next week on Monday Night Raw, and it's going to be glorious to see Bronson Reed destroy Braun Strowman with a tsunami. Can't wait. Bronson Reed has been booked perfectly. Bronson Reed has been booked absolutely perfectly for the last couple of weeks. Seth Rollins, beautiful. R-Truth, beautiful. Miz sticking up for R-Truth, beautiful. Who else is he going to destroy? There's only so many people he could destroy before we move him on to Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins comes back. Feeding Braun Strowman to him, that's so fucking perfect. So perfect. What else is Braun Strowman doing? Nothing. Where else does he factor into? Nothing. Putting him in the ring with Bronson Reed, helping Reed get elevated to the next level is the right position for Braun Strowman. Perfect booking. And it's going to be a good match. Because Braun Strowman, believe it or not, he works good with these types of guys. And Bronson Reed is a stud. He can move in there. He could go in there and throw his weight around. He can go in there and wrestle. It's going to be a great match. People are going to be really, really hyped for it, man. That crowd is going to fucking go crazy for these two beasts going at it. I can't wait to see it next week. It's going to be great. Sheamus. He was interviewed by Jackie Redmond. He admitted that his hand was hurting coming out of the match with Pete Dunne, but it was nothing a pint of Guinness couldn't fix. Kaiser interrupted and said Redmond should be interviewing him instead because, after all, he was in the main event with Randy Orton, unlike Sheamus, who was in the opener. Kaiser threatened to go after Sheamus once he was done with Orton. Sheamus says they're 1-1 and was happy to finish their trilogy. In the meantime, he'd be at the bar watching Kaiser get an RKO. And he wasn't wrong. Sheamus wasn't wrong. Braun Breaker. These two guys are definitely going to be in the IC title tournament. We got a Braun Breaker interview here with Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly asks Braun Breaker, what's next after beating Sami Zayn? Braun wasn't happy. He went to a highly educated university, or he was happy, rather, that he went to a highly educated university because he heard there would be a tournament starting next week to determine his next challenger, and that was funny to him. He knew Pierce wanted to slow him down because he was progressing too quickly. Braun said it wasn't his fault, and he says everybody thinks he's a badass, but it's not my fault for being a badass. It wasn't my fault he's a genetic freak, more talented than anyone in the locker room, and it wasn't his fault that the dogs are barking in every city louder and louder that we go into. Braun earned the Intercontinental title and warned the eventual tournament winner, I'm going to spear you through the floor and give you the beating of a lifetime, and that will be my fault. Braun's great. Braun is great. Braun can do no wrong right now. I am slightly disappointed that, and you know, I mean, we're very close to Bash in Berlin. I didn't really want them to put Braun on the card just for the sake of getting Braun on the card because he's the Intercontinental Champion. I thought maybe a match with Dragunov. I thought maybe a match with somebody at the pay-per-view. But looking back at it now, being that we are legitimately a week and some days away from Berlin, why rush a nothing match with no story, no build, just to get Braun Breaker on the Berlin card? Yeah, the fans would probably love it. I'd love it. I like to see Braun on TV as much as I can. I know you guys feel the same way. But in light of the IC title victory, he just got through with Sami Zayn. There wasn't enough time between him beating Sami Zayn in the 2 out of 3 falls match and the pay-per-view to develop a story good enough or a match good enough for Braun Breaker to put on the Bash in Berlin card. So what they've done is now they've taken next week's Raw as the starting point and building all Monday Night Raw for the next couple of weeks a #1 contender that will then develop into a story with Braun Breaker. And this match will probably take place at Bad Blood, whoever that may be. Again, I don't know who's in the tournament. I don't know how many participants will be in the tournament. But it might be disappointing to some people that Braun's not going to be on the pay-per-view. But if you look at the next couple of weeks of television, next several weeks of television, this is going to highlight the mid-card for Monday Night Raw. And there's a very good mid-card on Monday night. Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. We got Braun Breaker as the IC champion. We got Sheamus. We got Pete Dunne. We have Dragunov. There's a lot of guys on Monday Night Raw looking to break out. And I love the fact that now this gives Monday Night Raw a pro wrestling heavy segment at least once or twice a week. Definitely coming out of that tournament. It gives the show meaning going into the next pay-per-view already. And whoever comes out of this thing is going to be a beast for Braun Breaker to devour on his way to retaining the Intercontinental Championship. I love it. This is great stuff. So I'm okay with Braun not being on the pay-per-view because it's not going to be a pay-per-view match worthy of being a pay-per-view. No story, no build. But instead, we get a long, drawn-out sequence to find his next challenger, and it's going to give us some great television and highlight the mid-card. How could you say no to that? Why would you have a problem with that? I don't. Neither should you. Dragon Lee. There you go. Dragon Lee. Absolutely. We should absolutely see Dragon Lee in the tournament. Damian Priest. He went one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. This was a scheduled match that was scheduled to take place, but we did not get it, as this was a very heat-filled segment to give the Judgment Day some much-needed momentum going into the pay-per-view. Priest entered, and he turns around and saw Carlito of the Judgment Day. He decked Carlito, who tried to attack from behind. He also knocked down JD McNuggets and Finn Balor. He was about to chokeslam Balor, but Carlito saved him. Priest took out Carlito and McFish with super kicks. Balor bailed. Ripley appeared from behind Dominic. Ripley headbutted him, and Priest dropped him with a big right hand. Ripley cleared the announce desk and set up Dom for a riptide through the announce table, but Liv Morgan attacked Rhea Ripley from behind with a chair. Balor then comes back out, and the rest of the Judgment Day swarmed Damian Priest. Morgan then taunts Damian Priest as Judgment Day held him down, and Morgan tossed Ripley around ringside, beating her up, threw her into the steel post, threw her into the table. Balor hits Priest with a coup de grace, and Morgan hit Ripley with Oblivion in the middle of the ring. They then stacked Rhea Ripley on top of Damian Priest, and Dom eventually hits Priest with a frog splash, and the new Judgment Day stood tall over the Terror Twins. This had a lot of heat, man. This was exactly what it needed to be. Because if the new Judgment Day, who they are now looking a lot different with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest out of the group, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley got the best of Judgment Day the last 2 weeks. They've said a lot of things. They've done a lot of things to make the Judgment Day look weak. The Judgment Day absolutely needed a segment before the pay-per-view to give them a fighting chance to look at least somewhat like a group that can stand on their own going into the pay-per-view against Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Otherwise, this is a waste of a group. You can't treat this group like a bunch of cast-offs, like a bunch of losers. They got the numbers game. You can't continuously book Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley to have them outbeat and outgunned when it's 5 against 2. So leading up to the pay-per-view, it was one-sided with the baby faces over the group of 5. Tonight, they finally got the numbers game to their advantage. They laid out both Priest and Rhea Ripley, and I thought this was a great segment. Liv Morgan looked great. Dominic looked great. Balor got his hands on Priest. This was lots of heat. This is exactly what they needed going into the mixed tag team match. After the break, we come back to the show, and Balor and the Judgment Day cut a backstage promo. Balor said that was just a taste of what would happen to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley in the mixed tag team match in Berlin. Morgan said Dom was all man, and she would make Ripley her bitch in Berlin. All right. There you go. Triple threat tag team title match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. Alba, Fyre, and Isla Dawn against Io Sky and Kairi Sane against Pure Garbage Collection. Is that their name? Oh, Pure Fusion Collective. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever you say. I like my name better. Pure Garbage Collective. But just go with that one. Now, normally, I come on here and say, you know what, we're just going to breeze through this. Nobody cares. I'm sure nobody still cares. Women's tag team division, tag team titles, they're all pretty worthless. But I'll give the ladies credit, man. I'll give the ladies credit here. This was actually a lot better than I anticipated, and they worked their butts off to at least get somewhat of a reaction here, so I can't really sit here and shit all over. I don't give a fuck about this in any sense of the word, but I got to give them some credit, man. I got to give them some credit. They worked to at least make it somewhat decent. So they all got their full entrances. Sky made a hot tag. Crowd got into it. She goes and does her shit. Everybody loves Io. Kairi and Io hit Fyre with a superplex off the middle rope, but Isla Dawn broke up the cover. They trade moves until Sane speared Alba Fyre. Sonya Deville keeps getting involved here. There's no DQ. It's a triple threat match. So Sane knocked her off the apron for a second time. Distraction allowed Baszler and Stark to take over. Sane dropped them both with a flying crossbody. Sane and Baszler exchanged strikes until Baszler tried to cure for the clutch. Sane escaped and hit a back fist. Sane went up for the insane elbow, but Isla Dawn tagged herself in, which Kairi did not notice. Baszler caught Sane in the cure for the clutch. Isla Dawn hit her from behind with a backstabber. Isla Dawn then held them in place as Fyre hit a senton bomb, and Fyre covered Baszler for the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. And they retain the tag team championships. Pure Garbage Collective. It's taken out on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays in JD's neighborhood. Goodbye. I have a feeling this is all leading to a women's War Games match, which, I mean, let's go to Bed Bath & Beyond, bro, and buy ourselves some nice, cozy pillows, man. It's going to be a long Survivor Series women's War Games match that genuinely nobody cares about. Jackie Redmond interviewed Jey Uso. Everybody loves Jey Uso, man. We all love Jey Uso.
Yeet. No yeet. Yeet. No yeet.
Jesse, I told you, man, this is an 18-plus establishment, man. Get the kids out of the venue, man. Seriously, you're going to get my license taken away, okay? Jesus fucking Christ, man. Do you think this podcast serves out coloring books to the fucking children at the bar, man? Seriously, I got to ask you a serious question, man. Seriously. Holy shit. Aren't you checking IDs at the door, bro? I don't understand it. I really don't.
I don't even know why.
I don't know why you come here either, motherfucker. I don't get it. Unbelievable. Jackie Redmond interviewed Jey Uso about potentially reuniting with Sami Zayn as a team. Jey said Zayn was taking some time off to clear his head. Zayn has been putting in work week after week, and he would be back with a vengeance. Before he left, Zayn encouraged Jey to go for gold without him. Jey entered the IC title tournament and would have the title on his shoulder next time he was in your city. Yeet. Great job. Jey Uso's in the tournament. Will we see him next week? Maybe. Against who? I don't know. Michael Cole announced that Pat McAfee would be going away for a few months doing college football game day on ESPN. They had a nice video package for McAfee, which made it seem like he was leaving forever. I thought he was retiring. But McAfee will be back in January when Raw moves to Netflix. He will be, I believe, probably with Corey Graves next week. And then after that, September 2nd, we get the debut of Joe Tessitore on Monday Night Raw, man. I'm very much looking forward to that. Joe Tessitore is very good at what he does. Next week on Raw from Providence, Rhode Island, they announced IC title tournament begins. We don't know who. We don't know how many matches, how many participants. We don't know what's taking place next week, but it begins next week. Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. And Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, against Chad Gable. Monday Night Raw cooking. They're cooking. Main event time. Randy Orton and Ludwig Kaiser. 15 minutes on Monday Night Raw in the main event. This was all to set up and further push Gunther and Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kaiser is going to get a big singles run. As you guys have obviously seen, WWE split up Imperium because they really believe in Ludwig Kaiser. Now, if you guys were paying attention to the dirt sheets today and what was going on as far as the news goes, The Undertaker also believes in Ludwig Kaiser and is a big fan of Ludwig Kaiser, as he explained on his 6 Feet Under podcast. He's a big fan of what Gunther is doing in WWE because he's old school and everything he does is believable. He also said he's a fan of what Kaiser is doing. Kaiser is one of the up-and-coming stars on Monday Night Raw, and it seems like there is more of an effort being made to elevate him in recent months, like I just stated. Taker said in regards to Ludwig Kaiser, I quote, "I'm high on Kaiser too. Obviously, Gunther is a little bit further along, but keep an eye on Kaiser. I think he's going to be special. He's easy to hate." Taker went on to continue to say, "What was really refreshing to me was I was giving him my perspective on what he should be doing, and he was like, that's what I've been feeling. I've been feeling all this. And he's just been waiting for his opportunity because he's been in the shadow of Gunther." Kaiser's been given a bigger spotlight after Giovanni Vinci was removed from Imperium and they broke up the stable. I guess they're still called Imperium, but the tag team is at least gone for now. Vinci's being repackaged, and WWE has been airing vignettes to reintroduce him to fans as this Italian playboy who lives a lavish lifestyle. It's going to be great. Vinci is fantastic. And Gunther, obviously, is going to hold the World Heavyweight Championship for months and months and months and months, and just get used to it. He ain't losing the belt anytime soon. An endorsement from The Undertaker. I don't know of anything else in this business outside of a major world championship that is going to be as valuable to a young talent as a fucking endorsement from potentially the greatest of all time. The greatest big man of all time. A fucking living legend in this lifetime. The Undertaker. Imagine that. Imagine you're Kaiser, man, just getting this knowledge from The Undertaker, and then he goes on his podcast and has these glowing things to say about you. It's unbelievable. Good for him, man. Good for him. This match, though, good stuff. He exceeded expectations here. He continues to do so. He had a great match with Randy Orton. And we'll pick it up after the first commercial break. Orton was about to do a back suplex on the announce table, but let go of Kaiser upon seeing Gunther in the timekeeper's area. He was sitting right there. Kaiser kicked Orton's leg and a back suplex on the announce table, so he gave Randy Orton a taste of his own medicine. Orton leaned against the steel steps. Kaiser ran around the ring and drop-kicked his knee into the steps. Kaiser worked over Orton's leg after the break. Kaiser tried running around the ring again, but Orton dropped him with a clothesline and hit a back suplex on the table. Orton did it 3 more times as he looked over at Gunther. Orton followed with a power slam. Kaiser blocked a draping DDT and hit a leaping kick for a 2. Orton responded with a superplex, his draping DDT. Kaiser countered an RKO into a schoolboy, but after that, they both got to their feet, and Orton immediately followed with an RKO for the 1, 2, 3. Kaiser rolls out of the ring. Orton draws a line in the sand, an imaginary line in the ring. He invited Gunther into the ring, which led to a brawl. Gunther seemed, he seemed a little clunky in there to me against Orton, brawling here at the end of the show. It looked like they were kind of off pace a little bit, but they ended the show with them brawling. Orton poked him in the eye. They were punching each other, and Monday Night Raw quickly goes off the air. The one thing I would change about Monday Night Raw, though, I will admit, the one thing I will change about Monday Night Raw, man, the end of the show, I don't like the way Triple H ends Monday Night Raw with a match, and we're legitimately looking at the time. It's 10:59, and we know they're going off the air at a hard stop at 11 o'clock. And it's just the match and the winner, and then boom, show's over. The end of the show should be used as a cliffhanger to build into the next major thing going into next week. What happened to the cliffhanger endings on these shows? AEW does the same thing. Where are the cliffhangers? Like, give me a fucking reason to watch. Now, AEW does a good job of laying out the show for the next week or the next 2 weeks. Triple H has always been high on giving people the show that they can expect going into next week. But, as far as angles going into next week, instead of just having a hard stop at the end of the show, they should have a cliffhanger ending going into next week's show instead of what they're doing now. That's the only thing I would really change. The brawl was good. It was fine. The match with Kaiser and Orton was fine. But going off the air, it's like, oh man, that's it? You wanna have an ending that you get excited for going into next week. WWE can't seem to find the right formula to get that down at the end of Monday Night Raw. But what I thought they did tonight was very good. I'm enjoying the build for Bash in Berlin a little bit more than I am SummerSlam's build. And I thought Monday Night Raw was a very good show tonight. And you guys probably thought the same, man. I don't really see anybody saying anything bad about Monday Night Raw tonight. I think a lot of things are looking up for WWE. Bash in Berlin's looking great. All In's looking good. And we got Bad Blood already sold out, man. Everything's clicking, man. Everything is looking good right now for WWE. Thank you guys for all of your support. Really appreciate you being here, man. 2,000 live tonight for Monday Night Raw here on Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Please hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go out and find all the other content on the channel. There is plenty of it all on the homepage for you. Go and check it out. Tomorrow night, Solid Monster and I will be live on Tuesday Night Titans. We'll go over the week's pro wrestling news and give you guys a full breakdown and preview of AEW All In this coming weekend. Should be good. Tonight's show is sponsored by Blue Chew. You know, a lot of the talent in AEW's locker room, man, they're soft. Soft. I don't want you guys walking into the bedroom soft. Don't walk into the bedroom like a fucking salty mark that comes out of the AEW locker room. You guys need to be hardwood, not softwood. You've seen the ads. You know what I'm talking about, man. You see me mention it 1,000 fucking times on this show. Blue Chew. It's tonight's sponsor for the Monday Night Raw post right here on Off the Script. Blue Chew is a unique online service that provides the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it comes in a chewable tablet, and it comes at a fraction of the cost. You guys can take them anytime, day or night. Be ready whenever the opportunity arises. And the process is very simple. All you got to do is sign up at BlueChew.com. You're going to consult with one of their online medical professionals. And once you are approved, you are going to receive your prescription within days. No questions asked. It's all done online. No doctor's office visits. No waiting in line at the pharmacy. No awkward conversations with strangers. It's all done online. And the best part is, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to you, discreetly, right to your front door. Blue Chew wants you to not be Dax Softwood. Try it for free using code JD at checkout. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. All you got to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. Let's get into these super chats. Get them on in. And get those thumbs up. We need 50 more likes for 750. Michelle with a $2 super chat. The strap match should be wicked cool. Punk wins. Yes, Punk is going to win this one. They will go 1-1 into Bad Blood. Yes. Sidro with a $2 super chat. Why Chelsea a bad wrestler? Because she's green in the ring. Chelsea's a lot better. Yeah, seriously, Chelsea's a lot better than what WWE makes her out to be. Lauren. Raw been cooking. Best wrestling show of the week. Bash in Berlin is shaping up to be awesome. Orton, Cena, Punk, McIntyre, Rhea will be on Raw in 25. I don't know where you heard that. Wish we would have seen the whole brawl after Raw. I don't know what else happened after Raw, nor do I really care. I can't imagine it was anything spectacular. But thank you, Lauren, for the super chat. Love. Tribal Chief with the $2 super chat. I can always count on the OTS family. Thank you, JD. OTS, pal. David, hooray. With a new membership. David, thank you, brother. The fuck does David want to drink, bro? Triple M with a $2 super chat. Your Twitter DM's crazy. Laughing my ass off. Good luck on the weekly grind, JD. Thank you, brother. I don't like the way that they've set up the nightfalls, bro. Why can't I just do all the nightfalls in one fucking sitting? We got the same fucking nightfalls, man. I felt like we had Fallen Saber just like 2 weeks ago. We got it back again. We had Luminity this week. I mean, how many fucking times I got to do that shit? Like, give me the rest of them. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Went to WWE Super Show in Lakeland Saturday. Hope you had a good time. PD Shaw with a 42 months. 42 months. Going for 48 months. As always, I'm proud to be an OTS member for life. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, PD Shaw. Zero Kaiba. 28 months. Man, Dax has been crying like a bitch so much lately. Starting to make me think he actually likes to take hardwood up the you-know-what. Hashtag OTS. Greatest tag team on the planet. Can't decipher criticism about his own company, man. It's always got to be fucking, oh my God, how could they say that? And then you got people like fucking Matt Goon. Fucking poor schlep, old bag of fucking bones he is. With 7 or 8 failed podcasts, I lost my fucking count on how many fucking failed endeavors that fucking asshole's had. He only exit on. Oh, JD hates professional wrestling. What an asshole. Shitting on the men and women of this industry like he has anything to do with the fucking industry. You fucking break. All because you have your head so far up Dax's asshole that you could see what he's had for dinner 6 weeks ago. It doesn't make you part of the industry, you fucking fat slob. Ridiculous. BC24 the $4.99 just came to say your response to Dax got more likes than his response to you. You had me dying at work today. Why can't these dudes take criticism? Because he's Dax Softwood. The tag team division in AEW is fucking garbage. It never used to be that way. They had the best tag team division in all of pro wrestling. Now, they're on level with Vince McMahon level tag team divisions. Maybe we need another advisor for Tony Khan to take over the tag team division, or maybe the Young Bucks they don't give a shit. I don't know. Billy Sizane with a $10 super chat. Hi, guys. Hi, JD. Not a Taylor Swift guy, but I'd rather get kicked in the nuts 10 times. Why? CM Punk, why? If you listen to Taylor Swift and you're a man with a cock and balls between his legs, man, you're basically telling me something without actually telling me something. If you listen to Taylor Swift and you're a guy, more than likely you have pronouns in your Twitter profile. Guaranteed. Jamie Acuna with a $9.99. Hey, JD, love to be here on a Monday night for the best in the IWC. By any chance, are you going to do a meet and greet in Vegas for Mania? If not, then I'll see you there in Texas for All In. I don't know what I'm doing, Jamie. I don't know, man. I don't think the AW fan base welcomes me anymore. I'm a little bit too real for the AW fan base. We'll see, though. I got a B&B booked for Vegas. I can cancel it anytime. I don't know if I'm going to show up. If I have to do House of Glory, I will probably be there. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Randy Orton has just signed a new 5-year deal. And Orton can't turn heel now. LOL. He will eventually, though. Courtney D with a $5 super chat. UK fan over here thinking we're going towards an Ivy versus Nikki Cross match, which I can't wait for. JD, you bring so much joy to me. OTS for life. Courtney, I appreciate that greatly. Thank you. And thank you for being here, man. It's late. It's late over there. Get some sleep. I have to go see Alien Romulus. Yes. I heard a lot of mixed reviews about it, man. I heard that the soundtrack was lame. I heard the ending was lame. I heard the ending was Alien 3-esque. That it didn't make any sense. I don't know how it could be this bad, man. Ridley Scott was attached to this. How could it be that bad? Or maybe these people are just fucking mental. Was it as bad as people made it out to be? Will I enjoy it? Because I definitely want to go see it. Seen it twice. It was good. All right. We'll hopefully see it. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow. I got nothing to do during the day. Maybe we'll go see it. Maybe on Wednesday. We'll see it on Wednesday. Courtney, thank you. Lauren, thank you. Matt with a $5 super chat. I'm loving the new Shorts channel. Can't always catch the streams, but now I can keep up with the channel more. Keep up with the great work, JD. Matt, thank you, brother. There'll be some clips from this very show. I'm sure we'll be over there. Lauren with a $2 super chat. I expect Punk to be more in this feud with Drew. Bid Moon with a $1.99. I acknowledge Solo and JD. We the ones. We love Solid Monster. Jason Bark with a $10 super chat. I got blocked earlier by Dax Harwood. Or as Jesse calls him, Dax Softwood. Man's a fucking snowflake crybaby who can't deal with important criticism. It's funny, he didn't block me after my comment to him. My comment got over 130,000 views on social media. 1.2K likes. Almost outliked him. Are people that frustrated with FTR, man? Are people that just like out of just over FTR? Has Dax's fucking rah-rah wave the white flag of AEW promos really done that much damage to a point where people don't want to see FTR anymore? It's crazy. I love FTR, man. This is what I don't get. I love FTR. Never said a bad thing about anything they did, man. The tag team division sucks. It sucks. You got champions who don't defend their titles for 4 fucking months that are on fucking limited dates, and a tag team division that's dead from what it used to be. How am I the fucking bad guy? Lauren with a $2 super chat. Check out Orton's interview with Cody. It's great. Cliffco with 25 months. You need haters. What do you think a hater's job is? If you got 14 hating on you, you need to get to 16 by the end of the summer. Cat Williams. You know, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to post that tomorrow. Stu the Beats with a $5 super chat. JD, as I was watching Punk tonight, I felt a bit underwhelmed. You hit all the right points on Punk earlier. The GOAT of the IWC always speaks facts. Thank you, Stu the Beats. I appreciate it. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way. Something is just a little tweak is all we need. Watson with 26 months. Yo, JD, how you doing, bro? I'm doing all right. Could be better, but I'm doing all right. I was in Berlin near the Uber Arena 2 weeks ago. I couldn't get tickets, unfortunately. Looking forward to Bash. Cheers. Well, you know what, Watson? You don't need a ticket to the podcast to sit in the venue. So hopefully we'll see you on Saturday afternoon. Chris Leon with a 26 months. You the man, JD. Cheers. Thank you, Chris. Lauren with a $2 super chat. The classics. I can't stand Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is nothing more than an Illuminati fucking plant who rose to success because I'm sure she did some fucking nefarious things with children, who lip syncs at her shows, claiming that she could sing for 4 hours straight and have fucking an 80-song set. Give me a fucking break. Give me a goddamn break, man. Fucking ridiculous. All these people were at the Super Bowl throwing up satanic imagery, yet you want me to fucking sit here and praise the very ground that they walk on. Taylor Swift was legitimately next to Ice Spice at the Super Bowl holding a fucking satanic necklace with a devil fucking insignia on it. Yet I'm supposed to fucking sit here and listen to these people's musics. Sure thing. Fuck out of here. They're only where they are. Even some of the bands I listen to, man, they're only where they are because they were chosen to be where they are for whatever choices they made. Nelson Soracco with a new membership. Mendel's Isma with 27 months. Was at the show tonight. Yeah, 3 hours is really long, and something fusion killed the crowd and barely recovered. OTS for life. Yeah, it was an upside down cross. Yeah. Right on camera, man. She did the fucking devil, like, she did the devil horns and stuck her tongue out. Nobody wants to discuss that, though. It all gets swept under the rug because, oh my God, she's dating a Kansas City Chief. For all we know, it's not even a real relationship. Fucking ridiculous. Fucking gullible mainstream fucking propaganda, man. I can't. I never watch any mainstream news. I never sit here and listen to mainstream music, man. I am so anti-mainstream and it's fucking ridiculous. Everything they shill you in the mainstream, man, is fucking terrible for you. Everything. Brand names, everything you see on TV is fucking garbage. Legit garbage. The Super Bowl is absolutely scripted. All sports are scripted. You don't think you know what I'm not gonna say. You don't think the Braves won the World Series because Hank Aaron was fucking, he passed away that year? Hank Aaron passed away that year. That was their okay, here you go. Said it then, I'll say it now. Harold Russell with 15 months. I forgot Dragon Lee was even on the show. Apparently he's supposedly his wife gave birth and he was given time off. BC24 with the 199. Did you see Alien Romulus? Very good. No. I would like to see it. Justin with the 499. In your honest opinion, do you think the Brave season is over after the announcement of Riley missing the rest of the regular season? Yeah, the Brave season was over when Acuna got injured. thought the Brave season was over when Strider went down. Imagine losing Strider, Acuna, Albies, Austin Riley. Who else did they lose? They lost Harris for a lot of the year. Darno was out. Sean Murphy's been out. If they make the playoffs, Snickers should be manager of the year. Which they won't. And they got Philly tomorrow. If they don't beat Philly at least 2 out of 3, we're fucking done. And if they don't make the playoffs, I don't give a fuck. What am I supposed to say? Hey, man, the Braves, listen, they had a great year. No, they didn't have a great year. Half the fucking lineup is out. BC. Elliot Romulus was very good. Thank you. Harold Russell with a $10 super chat. Heard you rant about Mercedes and Naomi a while back and became a fan since then. OTS for life. Thank you, brother. I'm solo. Or I'm so lost, bro, with a $2 super chat. If you played Dead Space Act 3, it's Alien. Crazy. Don Parker with a $10 super chat. I want to see the Orton heel turn. And I've been looking forward to it. Bring back the punt kick. And Wrestling Bro with a $4.99. Here's some bones. New Alien is very good. Has a mature feel. And not just more Hollywood PC bullshit garbage. Very raw. You'll like it. Thank you, Wrestling Bro. I look forward to that. Thank you. We live in a simulation, says Mike43 in the chat. I am seeing that more and more every single day, bro. Do I like the Yankees? Anthony, are you new here, bro? For my entire YouTube career, man, I wore nothing but Atlanta Braves hats, man. Do you think that's by design because I think the hats are cool? Or do you think I'm a fan? Why would I like the Yankees? Because I'm from New York? I don't understand this notion where, oh man, you're born and raised in that town, in that city, man. You gotta like that team's city. That city's team. No. No, man, I like to go against the norm. If you haven't figured that out by now. Anyway, guys, I appreciate it. We had fun tonight. Next time you see me will be tomorrow night with Salamonster. Salamonster and I will be live for Tuesday Night Titans. Tuesday Night Titans, man. One of the most popular shows in the entire community, man. Matt Goon could never. He could never. Keep someone interested for 60 episodes, man? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. They're asking a lot out of Matt Goon. Anyway, guys, we're about to get out of here. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go and follow the new channel, man. It's linked down in the description. JD from NY Shorts. I'd like to hit 4,000 subs over there by Wednesday's Dynamite. I'm sure we'll do it. Hit that thumbs up. We need 10 more likes for 750. Go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. Blue Chew. Don't be like Dax. Softwood. BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. And hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for all notifications. I will see you guys tomorrow night for Tuesday Night Titans right here with the Salamonster. On off the script. We'll see you guys later.